All right, everybody, I got Scott Millard here, and he made his way over to Tampa. Scott, how you doing, brother?
We're doing well on this fine morning. We're waking up and winning.
So I think I really like the fact that Client Ascension now has become, it's like a form of camaraderie. Like we actually hang out with each other. And you were a part of that first meetup we did really long back. Had a bunch of people come in. We had a really good time. And we've done 3 of them so far, including the big event. So I think it's cool to see that we're basically all just friends now, which is really great.
Yeah, it's honestly something I wasn't expecting when I joined, which is super cool. So even without the in-person stuff, like in the Slack channels and everything like that, especially the Wins channel, these people have no idea. But everybody just like hypes each other up. And for me, a big part was I didn't really have anyone that was in the same position as me. So I wanted to, I was getting into the online business stuff, and it's one thing to just like, try it by yourself and like watch some YouTube videos or something, but it's another thing to have like not only a fully supportive team of coaches, but just an entire community around it where people are dedicated to going in there every day and, amping you up and stuff like that. Yeah. So, but the in-person stuff is really cool.
Yeah,
as well.
it's so fun at the channels every day. I feel like it's just fun community. Like it's really good, and everyone's just winning so much, which kind of takes me to the point where could you tell everybody what you do and kind of where you were, maybe your life position, like I think it was like 5 months ago or something like that, and kind of where you are now and what happened to get you to that place you are at now?
Yeah, so I'll preface it. At the end of last year, I was working at like this, like just this stupid thing, like this like social media startup thing. I was making like $3K a month. It was just not enough money by any means at all. And I kind of just like didn't know what to do. My issue was that I feel like a lot of people will relate to is they have a skill and they just aren't getting paid like what they're worth. And I was like, okay, I need to like do something about this. So
True.
Yeah, I basically quit. And then in January and February, I made no money, and I was like, I just didn't know what to do. And that's when I started doing my online offer. I didn't even know what an offer was, if I'm being honest. Like I wasn't making any money, and I was like, I'll sell videos online. And people were like, you should get on Twitter and stuff like that. And I was like, cool, which is how I eventually met you guys. And so I was making $3K a month. Then I was making no money. Then I was making like $5K a month, which was like the standard to get into Client Ascension. And I remember I'd like moved back in with my mom because I had like no money at all. And I was in like my the bedroom like that I basically was in like in high school, and I was just like in the trenches.
Yeah. The trenches.
Yeah. At like $5K a month, and I was in this. I joined this space that you were in. I had no idea who you were, and it was you, Andre, and like a couple other people. And people were just asking these questions like, oh, like whatever. I didn't know what a cold email was, an offer or anything. And you're like, yeah, well, you got to do all this stuff, and you got to set up the domains, and you got to or they'll get burned. And I was like, what is this guy talking about? So I checked you out, and that's kind of like how I got to know you and then get familiar with Client Ascension. But yeah, looping back, I was just not making enough money. It's like $3K a month, and maybe we can get into this now. But I basically 10x'd in the last, I think like probably 6 months. So yeah, pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's interesting to take somebody, for instance, like you didn't even know what an offer was, and you understood like, yeah, I'm really good at making videos, but how can I directly translate that into an ROI and construct it in an offer, and then get that offer in front of people, get them on a call, close the call, and then operationalize the actual fulfillment of it. And you have a full-time employee now, right, to help you out with it?
Yeah, that's the other really cool thing is I hired someone, and I'm now paying them what I was getting paid like less than a year ago. Yeah. And so that was a really a really like, that was a cool moment. And the thing is that like, so there's always something in Client Ascension. Like for that example specifically, like Andre, like you'll come in and Andre will be like, when you hire them, do these SOPs and like do all of this stuff. And then, you know, when you have questions, get on the call, the operations call every week. And then other people that have employees, it's not just like the coach is telling you what to do. Other people that have employees will be like, well, you know, my full-time guy did this and this, and this thing that I did really helped with my hire. And so it's really like, it's just like a really well-rounded resource.
Yeah, I think there's something in there for everybody at every stage. And I remember getting on a one-on-one with you and telling you like, okay, Scott, it's time to hire somebody now.
You bullied me into it and it worked.
Yeah. And I was like, you're working so much, you have no time to make money. And that's kind of the way I laid it out for you. And you were at the exact point to which you should do so, which is somewhere around like 25K, 30K a month. And now you've got him and you see now what I mean, where it's like you have time to make more money.
So much time was freed up to actually grow the business, not just like make videos. And yeah, I mean, yeah, that's basically the thing. Yeah. So now that I have him, I think it would have been basically impossible to get to like 50K a month. And now that I have him, it's definitely possible.
Yeah. So do you like, what is that? Because I feel like a lot of people, they'll probably be in your similar situation. Maybe they have something they're trying to sell and like they're good at it and they can do it. They don't know how to translate it into an offer, and they probably feel exactly like you felt. Like, for instance, it probably didn't feel good moving back into your parents' house, like at all.
No.
And it kind of ties into just how your confidence about yourself. So if you could like explain kind of the way going from living in your parents' house to being able to live wherever you want, which you are doing right now, like literally just hopping around the country. How does that feel to like have the capacity and just the competence to produce money out of thin air, which is kind of how you are now? And that's what I try to like get people in Client Ascension to have, where it's like we're going to build this system out for you. I'm going to show you how to operate it, and then you're going to operate it. And then all of the coaching is just helping people optimize the operation of that system. So like, how do you feel now?
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. It's like one of the reasons I got in business is because I hate, and I think we've talked about this and we share this, but I like absolutely hated being forced to like go to school and all this stuff. And when you just like remember what that's like, and then being in the 3K a month, you know, job where it's like, well, I either have to like stay at 3K or go to zero, basically, which is what you do. You have to make the leap at some point.
That's so true. You're either gonna go up and fully conviction go up, or just kill it and go to
like
zero.
What's the most that's gonna happen? I'm gonna make. Okay, you got a raise. Now you're making 4K a month, 5K a month before taxes. No, but it's really awesome because yeah, like you said, I mean, you know, we're both going to see family. It's around Thanksgiving right now. If someone's watching this in the future, we're about to go see family and you know, be able to come back here and when you go do stuff like that, you know, you're able to afford to like take your mom out to a super nice dinner, or you know, buy stuff for your family, or you know, whatever it is. Everyone's in a different situation, and then things for yourself too, like, you know, just your living conditions overall.
It's like that imperative as a guy, where it's like, I want to be able to provide. I want to be able to like gather resources, like quite literally, like you're hunting.
I think what Client Ascension did for me is it enabled me to like build, basically. So it gives you direction in where to go. So like you come into the program, and going back to that skill conversation, you know, you might have a skill, but you don't know how to monetize it and you want to build something. So the team listens to you when you come in and they say, okay, based on what you want to build, this is literally what you need to do. This is like, here you go now, do it. And then checking in as you're building that in order to come to the outcome that we're talking about.
Yeah, I think it really is so simple, the things you need to do. It's just the internal optimization of it. So it's like, for instance, like I know we do Twitter ads for you and I helped you write the Twitter ads. And then I was like, okay, you're going to click this button, click this button, click this button. And then over time you start to see like, oh, that's like really working. And then now you know how to do it. And it's like the cold email. So it's like, all right, Scott, well, we're going to get the leads from over here. And then we're going to write this script for you. So we wrote the script for you. And then it's like, okay, dude, we're going to set up this sending tool. We give people free sending tool now. So you spend $0 a month on sending cold emails. And it's like, okay, you're going to click this, go here, go here, go here. And like, it's done for you. And then it's teaching you how to do it yourself. So it's kind of like the speed aspect.
And you just don't run out of things to do. Like, so I came in to the program again and I was like, what is a domain for send? I knew what a domain was, but not for like cold email and stuff. So I knew nothing. I didn't even know what an offer was, any of this stuff. And you get to a certain point where like you just don't run out of things to do, because it's like, okay, I learned how to send cold emails. Now that's working. I learned how to optimize them. That's working. I learned how to hire someone. That's working. Okay, what do I do next? Oh, I'm going to get on the LinkedIn call and learn how to run LinkedIn ads with Jeremy, who's just a beast.
Yeah.
And there's just all these things. And you guys have added so much stuff too since I joined. It's like
YouTube,
almost a completely different program at this point. It's just like so much stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But what we try to do when someone comes in, like for instance, you know how I do the one-on-one calls with everyone. And like you were saying before, it's like I'm going to assess where you are, and then I'm going to tell you need to do this precisely. And I lay it out in the Google Doc, and I make a timeline where it's like, you're going to do this, and then you're going to click this link and go here, and then you're going to show up to this specific call, and then this will happen.
And this is why.
Yeah, and this is why. And then that's going, and now it's like, okay, now I'm going to check back up on you in 2 weeks later, and I'm going to say, did you complete this? And if you did, it's like, okay, next phase, here's what we do now, X, 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 X. And this is just this repeating cycle of you need to do this, 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 this. And you're getting to the phase now where you're really going hard in the content marketing. I see you're making YouTube videos now, which is like the mega scale one. That's how you start that.
Yeah, you have to exert a lot of force in the beginning, but it's just a force multiplier.
Yeah, so simple. If you're cool with sharing it, like for a precise number with somebody, so like people can understand, like if maybe they're in a position like Scott, or maybe they have some skill and they're making like anywhere from like 2K to 5K a month. What are you at right now? And like the time, like, 'cause you've been in Client Ascension, I think like 5-6 months or something like that.
Yeah. Last month I did about 33.
Okay.
I think. And the important thing is too is like the trajectory. You talk about floors and ceilings on your income a lot. When I first joined, I was at, I think, so I was making 3K, but then I had my offer, so I was making 5K. So it was like 5K, 7K, 7K, 8K, 10K. It just started like doubling basically. Then I went to like 15K, 20K, 25. Mm-hmm. So it really is just like, it starts going up.
It's clean scaling is what it is. It's like, we're not sitting here coming in and telling people, well, you're gonna send hundreds of thousands of cold emails and get these like dozens and dozens of clients. You need to be able to actually fulfill the service, so you have a business that stays in business, and you can actually fulfill the thing, which is exactly what you're doing, and it's exactly why you got the full-time employee.
I literally could not have done it without the program, because I had the skill, but like there's like, what am I going to do? Like, get a mentor that teaches me like how to send cold emails, how to scrape leads, how to set up my offer, how to close people, how to, get on the calls, how to organize my full-time hires. Like there's no one, you don't get that from like, you can't just go out and like get that from like a single person, which is why the team you guys have built is so critical. And literally can't find it anywhere else. I've been in some, not like, I guess, coaching programs, but I've been in like some communities, and they just don't, like, it's not even the same thing. Those are just people talking to each other, and most of them have no experience, and they're just paying some amount to just be in there. It just isn't the same.
That's what I think about Client Ascension is people could be like, oh, like if we sat here inside Client Ascension and we decided to do like a dirty scale. And what I mean by that is we're going to take anyone, and it can be just like 2 sales guys. It could be like Connor and Dan, and just like dirty scale it. We could be at like $600K a month and just not even care about the student results. But it's like, I don't want to do that. I want it to have longevity in exactly the fashion I was just explaining to everybody, where it's like, I'm going to do a call with every single person that comes in, and I'm going to individually check up on every single, multiple times, all of the time. There are systems specifically to increase the speed with which people get results. And it's like, I need it to be clean. I need the highest possible percentage of people to see extreme success as is possible.
And you guys have done that. I mean, I don't like everyone in there by month like 2.5 is like closing like multiple $1,000 deals, like at least 2K at minimum. Usually that's like some people's just their setup fee. And doesn't matter what their offer is. I see people in there all the time like, hey, just got my first 3K recurring thing. There's people in there that are setting up deals right now where their recurring is like 20K. It's like ridiculous. So there's something for everyone too. And then what that does is that inspires you. And you can message that person. Because
it's open. That's what we've designed it like that, where it's like a lot of people are like, oh yeah, you're gonna join this mentorship group, and it's like no. You can like message every single person in there, and it's very open, which is really nice.
You can. I've sold videos within the program. I've talked about getting partnerships with people. People outside of the coaches have specifically helped me with stuff. I've helped people with a lot of video stuff. Like people come to me and ask questions.
And it's nice because it's all there's no, it's people who are capable of doing it. It's all people in there, like they're running a successful business. And that's what I like about it. Cause like somebody has some input about something and you learn from everyone. So it's really nice to have a community of people who are actually doing it. Like, and there's some absolutely massive people in there. There's multiple people over 100,000 a month, and like one in particular I just think of as Oliver, who just absolutely shreds such an absurd amount of leads, an absurd amount of cold emails, and like I think he's got multiple full-time people on his team. I'm pretty sure he's at like 250K a month just from cold email. Like that's it.
Yeah.
And I love hearing what he has to say, and I'm going to have to get him on an interview. But it's like you can talk to I'll learn things from Oliver, and then Oliver will learn things from me, and I'll just like get in a call with him every here and there, and we'll chop it up. And it's such a
just don't get that access literally anywhere else besides, I don't know, like a really exclusive, expensive, in-person secret mastermind that you probably don't even apply to get into until you're, worth like a couple mil. So Client Ascension is the only solution.
Yeah, it's
on the internet.
it's really good. I'm really excited the way it's panned out. Where do you feel like, because everyone I feel as if they have a velocity and they feel like some scale level is imminent at some point. Where do you think you'll be able to take your business probably in the next 6 months?
In the next 6 months, we're shooting for 50K, like consistently. On the price floor thing, I think, we've gotten to the point now where it's like you just increase it by like 5 to 10K a month, and you just try to stay there for like 2 months, and then you scale more, and then you scale more, and then you scale more. So our goal is to do like $500,000 next year. And before Client Ascension, I was honestly like scared to do that, like cope, because I like money, but I was like, you know,
It's that prospect of like, oh, this huge company is going to be so complex to run.
and actually, honestly, the more I learned, almost like when I first joined Client Ascension, I was still coping. I was like, oh, you know, maybe I'll just do like basically like high ticket freelancing or something. But I got like addicted to just like building it because it's so fun, and then you get monetarily rewarded, and then you're like, well, let's keep going. So yeah, like half a mil next year I think is completely possible. And you know, you're helping me with the new offer right now, literally yesterday, you know, adding a new offer to the business. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like what people will typically do if someone's at like 5K a month or something, or maybe even 10, they think of the prospect of making like 50K, 60K, 70K a month as like a super, super complex thing. But when you come in and you're interacting and in conversation with multiple people who are at 50, 60, 70, 100K, a couple people above 200K in Client Ascension per month, you see that, oh, I was scared of something that now seems so simple to me.
They just have more employees and more cold email domains and more recurring clients.
You know what it actually is? A lot of it is it's just more time implementing the same thing you have been implementing.
That is one thing too that I've talked a lot about to you guys, like the coaches, is now that I've learned all of this stuff, like what I made in the last year was basically really only going off of the knowledge I had before. So now next year we're gonna like 5x or something because I have all this knowledge now to do it.
Yeah, you have a really good business too. It's a productized service, so it scales very clean, and I like that about it. But the thing is, where it's like you build systems out. So like we've got a whole acquisition system built out for you that's pretty predictable, and we're doing two things: we're either acquiring customers or we're making more money from the current customers. And that's primarily what we were talking about yesterday, is making more money from the current customers, and I mean a lot more.
And future too.
Yeah. And that one offer we were talking about will work on the front end as well. Like it's designed specifically to do that, like a really, really expensive offer.
And you know what else Client Ascension helped me do actually is I just stopped working with people that didn't have the money.
Yeah.
And then when you start working with people that do have the money, then you just start finding people that have even more money and charging more. And you add stuff to the offer that makes it worth that amount. But like what I realized is I can, you know, work with someone that can only pay me, let's say like $1,000, but I can provide basically the exact same service as someone where it's more valuable to them and they act more professionally for like $4,000. Mm-hmm. And then so now you start multiplying that, and then you can see how you can very quickly get to 50K a month.
Yeah, I think what happens with a lot of people is if you want to scale really clean, you want to charge more money. And you probably hear people say that a lot, and it's the concept of selling to larger businesses that have a lot of employees, it seems like you feel like you can't sit there and ask for a lot of money because you're not as large as them, which is it's so not true. And I think that's what we try to do that a lot in Client Ascension, in particular, like all the sales meetings and whatnot, just trying to explain to people. It's like, no. You can sell to larger businesses. Stop talking to the tiny businesses. Charge more money and only work with them. And when somebody finally does it,
that's what happened to me. When I was at 5K a month, I was going on Twitter and selling to nothing wrong with them. Like it's the stuff they build is cool and stuff, but I was selling like indie makers and they're bootstrapped and they're like, I love the videos, but I can only pay you like $700 or something. And then so I started selling to funded startups and startups doing like a certain amount per year in top line, and that number, like what I could charge, like tripled.
Yeah. It turns into every sale becomes a significant amount of revenue. And that's the point. And what you find is it takes just a little bit more effort, if not the exact same effort, to sell something for $5,000, $10,000 as it does to sell something for $800. And when you just only do that, when you optimize that system and learn how to sell more expensive offers, how to construct an expensive offer in the first place, how to target people who can pay for more expensive offers and are really good clients, it becomes a system of you acquiring significant portions of revenue consistently all the time. And I think that's where you are now, and I think that's why you're starting to see scale now. And we're gonna do it a little harder. And you're saying you think you'll be at $500,000 and like you want to do $50K a month. I think
if you want to make more money, all you have to do is go into the program and tell the coaches, I think I'm going to make this much, and they'll go, no, you're going to make this much.
You're gonna get bullied into making more money.
Oh, cool. We probably got to wrap it up here.
Yeah, it was good having you on, brother. If you guys want to follow Scott, I'm going to leave a link in the description. You go follow him on Twitter. You can send him a message, and I'm also going to leave a link to clientascension.com. Go to the opt-in page, and you'll see a bunch of interviews from people. You see a bunch of screenshots of results. And if you want to make some money, come on and join. I'd love to have you. Thank you.